So Kelly, tell me about your recent week, like the craziness you've had with some Mercury retrograde and all that, because we got to share this changes and there's
Well,
discomfort.
a lot of changes and discomfort. I mean, I really had to learn to forgive, let go. These are big for me, big, forgive and let go, compassion, all of these things. So for me, this crazy week, I mean, it was a not an easy week, but there was a lot of discomfort in it. But then I just kept thinking, what am I learning? How am I growing? And naming it to tame it really helps, by the way, to name something. I'm feeling uncomfortable. Okay. That it actually helps to do that. So tell me about your
I
what's
recommend someone to making negative comments. When you put negativity out there, the world, it's going to come back to you. So be careful. Negative stuff, don't need it. Don't
right,
thoughts, negative stuff. And it's just want to be noticed. So it's not
right.
good. Um, crazy week, crazy week. Let's see. Thursday was it Thursday, Friday? That Mercury. My nephew came to visit from New York.
Oh,
I haven't seen him in
okay.
years, and he came, and I'm having a bathroom redone. My master
Oh,
bathroom.
that's
Finally, we're doing this master bathroom. So it's been interesting because that Thursday my nephew came to visit, and the I guess that morning the contractor called and said the crew hit a tension cord which holds your
oh,
foundation, and the
oh,
house might fall down. Yeah, and then I had lunch. Said, okay, well, call me back later. And then my nephew, he said, I want to go to my friend's playing a concert in San Diego, and he's just at a Grammy Award. So why don't you go down there and see him downtown? He goes, okay, could I? I said, yeah, borrow my truck. He took my truck, went down there. And the next morning, he's staying in a room in my house, of course. And the next morning, he texts me. He goes, I tested positive for COVID at the concert. So he's been
oh,
in his room ensconced. And the same day, the contractor called him. He said, we're going to get another company in to help with the foundation thing,
oh.
whatever. He goes, and what's your relationship with the LGBT community? I said, oh, so can you refer to me as Jessica now? Before he was different name, male name. Okay,
Oh,
nope.
James, you had
And
quite
then
a week.
quite a week, and then my brother's coming out, who's gonna calm everyone down, and he's crazier than all of us, my brother. So it's good. And there's a lot of other things happening too. So it's
Yes.
very and the puppies. Oh yeah, the puppies. I've been all weekend. I was full of puppy poop, and yeah, I was rolling on poop. And,
Oh my God.
well, you got to let go of control because you can't control it. So, but
Right.
it's a good change, and it's when
Yeah.
you're in the middle of that chaos, you got
Yes.
to step back, and
Yep.
it's perspective. It really is
Yeah.
perspective, because I also think that amusement and humor are wonderful to help us in times of chaos and craziness. I think humor is a real good
Oh,
because our natural state is
absolutely.
joy.
Right.
And you got to find the humor in these distressful situations. Like, I mean, come on, the house is full, gonna fall down. The guy's
You
friend,
called me and said my nephew has COVID now, and I'm like, well, listen, I got to go. I got a copperhead here. I mean, it was insane. This last few days were
and there are several
insane.
things I'm leaving out. I think I can't remember all of them
Right.
because you should see me trying to put gates up, baby gates and crates, and
Oh. Oh my
so
God, that's amazing. That's amazing.
it's all fine. It's all, but it really is. It's funny because I always say that we have a choice, love or fear, and that's
Yeah,
really what every situation you can choose love or fear. So
absolutely.
think
And you know
about
what?
love, loving, helping
And when
people,
I
and
think of with change, James, when I think of change, I think of when we come to this earth school, we're here to learn, taking all these different classes, right? We come here to take a lot of different classes. And as you come here and you're taking a different class, uh, one of the things that you might have to be learning is that you're needing to grow. And change is about growth. It's always about growth. How are you growing? What are you doing to make a change? When I go back to the other side, I want to be able to say, I grew. I didn't stay stagnant. I grew. I went to this classroom in the earth and I learned this and I learned this and I kept growing and growing and growing.
I passed those tests.
That's it. And I
I
passed those
passed those
tests.
tests because the tests aren't easy, and the
Right.
spirit. A lot of people say, "What does the spirit give you? What can they help us?" And my guides tell me things like, "Well, they love you so much that they
Yeah.
wouldn't give you the answers to the test because you have to go
Right.
through that." And that's what.
Right.
And enjoy the changes. I lived in Laguna Beach for many, many years, and it was like, why
Mhm.
am I stuck in Laguna? Not stuck in Laguna Beach, a beautiful place, but I'm not. Why am I here? I'm not a surfing person, not a beach person. I go
Right.
to the beach once, like, and then I was at a red light. I was at a red light going
Okay.
turning up my street, and there was the ocean there, and it's a surfers, and it hit me. Your life is like surfing. You've got to keep balance, and that was the reason I guess I was there for all
Oh,
my years to learn about balance And
Yeah.
like a surfer, you got to be balanced in all things in life. It's moderation. And it's really finding that balance in your life.
Yes.
It really is. So I say, and my sense of humor is my balance. That's how
It is.
I
Well,
love
you do.
the love or fear thing. I always say to people, and it is my sense of humor. Love is that lovely feeling you have. You appreciate people, and you love each other. And
Yeah.
fear is false ego appearing real, or
Yeah.
fuck everything and run.
Which
I've been
we've
that
done
word
too.
a lot this weekend, by the way. I'm very profound. Profanities.
I bet
And
you did.
yeah,
Well, so funny, James. I was in the deep south where they really don't talk that way, and I found myself not saying the f bomb, nothing. I was just with the flow.
good for
I
you.
know.
You
I
didn't do
couldn't
an
believe
elevator.
it.
You didn't do a Kelly elevator. I'm glad the
Yeah, I
airport
used the
elevator.
Kelly elevator. Yeah, it was it was amazing. And the other thing with change, when there's change, it pushes you to become more evolved. And when you're learning how to adapt to a new circumstance, or if you're thinking of a new approach, or somehow, these adventures promote personal growth whenever there's change. So we
It's
always have
very
to
true.
we have to think of it like that, because
And
it's
Kelly,
important.
could we answer a question here?
Oh, you bet.
Bink's cat has something very interesting here, and if it lost
Okay.
it, Renee, maybe you can find Bink's cat said something very, we're trying to pay attention to both of us and answering people's questions to Bink's. There it is. A lot of mental problems come from thinking. Thinking is a form of control, so people got to learn to take it easy. I like that. I agree to a point with that. I think if you overthink things, it's called mental distress. And what can I say? The makeup in the bodies, if you will, disturbing. It disturbs the balance there. So I agree with that. A lot of mental energy. People worry creates toxicity. Don't worry, it
Totally.
creates toxicity. What do you think,
Totally.
Kelly, from your
Oh, yeah. Oh,
perspective?
fear. Yeah,
Yeah.
fear, anxiety, fear of the future, fear of something you can't control. Yeah.
Yeah, and we can't control anything. All we can control is how we respond to things. You can't
And
control
yeah,
people, can't control situations, just how you respond to it.
right, right. That is just the truth on every which way you go here. Somebody writes, I don't like people. I get it. That happens too.
Pat- Patrick Gorman, mediumship by Patrick. That's nice, Patrick. Thank you very much. I don't know who you are, so I don't know if I can engage your mediumship because I would not sponsor you if I don't know your mediumship.
I know. Oops, I know. That's so true.
Hi, Laura Essig. How are you, sweetheart? It really does. We can ascend without changes. You want to alter your reality, change your perception, 100%. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
So,
That's right. I'm offering a surprise sale. That's right.
oh, well, we should talk about that.
I'm getting my new
Okay.
school. I've worked 3 years now. I'm working on redoing my school, the JP School of Mystical Arts, and where people don't have to go on Facebook or YouTube. They can go right to the school and it's all there.
Great.
So I don't have to go out, and it's just all contained. There's all these bells and whistles on it. So that's gonna. They were going to launch it. The website people are going to launch it during retrograde. Please don't.
No, please
Wait
don't.
till we're done with that. So it'll be up next week, probably after Mercury
Okay.
retrograde is over, right?
Yeah.
June 6th, it's over, Kelly. What is
June
it?
3rd, but probably a better day to do it be the 5th or the 6th.
I think the 6th. I think it's
Yeah.
the 6th. And so, in honor of that, I want to do a 20% off for any course you want to
Great.
take on the website. Any
Oh,
course.
a
So
good course right now would be that transformational
I
28 days.
don't care today. 28 days transformation
Mhm.
course. It's a great course. It really is if you do it every day. If you don't do it every day, don't
Right.
take it. Do it every day for 15 minutes a day because it's a progressive course, which means it gathers more. It builds up from the day
Right.
before. That's really important. So if you drop that space, that energy, it won't work as well. So I just want to say that. If you don't intend to do it 20 days solid, then don't take it. That's my advice. But if you want good change and really amazing perception,
Right.
people have told me about that they've gotten from that
Well,
course.
and it builds the muscle up. It builds the muscle.
And it builds self-love,
Yes.
self-reflection, perception of self, going
Yeah.
into yourself. It's all different exercise. It goes back to childhood traumas. It goes back to a whole bunch of stuff.
That's
Interesting.
really important. Well, I've got three things about reframing discomfort to make it a positive experience. Okay, so let's say you're really anxious and you don't like. I know a lot of people were writing to me and saying, I don't like change. I don't want to be I don't want to have discomfort. But
Welcome to
it's
you.
welcome to again, Earth 101. Number one, we can see discomfort as a sign of growth. So, sign of growth. So, you're feeling uncomfortable. Where are you growing with this? You have to think like this. The second thing is you don't want to internalize criticism. So you
So
want to
true.
almost try to depersonalize this as you're going through it. Ruminating is not ruminating about how uncomfortable you are or something that makes, or unhappy you are with the change. It's just going to perpetuate that. So we really don't want to do that. You really want to change the thoughts in your head to, wow, look what I'm going to be experiencing, something
Your
new. Per-
perception, change your perception.
Absolutely. And
And things don't happen by accident. They're divinely led. You're going through this, and
exactly. James, that is so true. And really embrace the discomfort. Embrace it, because when you embrace it, it might take you some period of time, but it's like achieving a goal if you think of it like that.
so
It's
all
like,
my comfort, including with my contractor transitioning in
yes.
the middle of my house almost falling down. Um,
Oh
I
God.
always say that, I don't know, maybe it's over the years. And hi, Ann Margaret. Over the years, I've gotten to that. I use one phrase, and I don't know how I came up with why, but I was, wow, isn't that interesting? And I said, every time in a discomfortable
Right.
feeling, at a social gathering, whether it's at who
Right.
knows, I said, interesting. And even someone I disagree with, whatever, or I feel discomfort, I always say, how interesting.
Right. Right.
'Cause it's interesting. Maybe it's someone else's point of view that I don't know about. Maybe it's a perception which I've experienced yet, but that's their perception. So who am I to judge it? So it's like, how interesting. It
Right.
kind of fits it all, really.
That's exactly what I do too, James, with that. Robin Kane Kirby says, discomfort
Thank
is
you.
temporary. So as long as you aren't resisting the change, think of it like a
True.
snake shedding its skin. Discomfort leads to growth. Thank you very much. That
Yes,
is
very
true.
true. Very true.
Yeah, I love that.
Gene says, I just cry all day and don't know why.
Well,
Well, here's cleanse the
that's,
soul. It's a new situation. You can't control things. And what other people think of you is none of your business. Remember that. It's really important.
yeah,
Self love is really about what's about. And nothing but ego, nothing but just having an honoring, respecting yourself. You are a sacred soul. Everyone here is a sacred soul. We got to treat ourselves as sacred, and we don't. And we have to treat ourselves as sacred beings.
right. Oh my
Right?
gosh. So Melody McClure says, what do you do when change is really drastic and out of your control? Like my husband and mom both dying at the same time frame. Oh, that's a really hard one, Melody.
Hi, Melody. Yeah.
That's a hard one.
Well, it's a big one. It's a big one
Yeah.
because it's hard to choose one parent, but two at the same time. The positive part of that is that they both went at the same time, and that does happen. And souls will choose to leave at the same time before they even predetermine the life. They've been pre-planning the life.
Yeah.
So the good thing is they're together, which is kind of great. The hard thing is they're left behind. But I my cousin just passed away Friday. I had a lot of death around me
Uh,
this past week. A lot of different people, and it was hard. But I somehow said to my cousin's sister, he is in a better place. We shed the skin. We're shedding the
yeah.
skin. This is not who we really are. This is temporary. Change is temporary. We are soul, first of all. We're not humans. We're souls having a human experience, not
Yeah.
the other way around. So just reminding yourself of that, having that again perspective, really does help.
And Melody, look at the things in your life that bring you strength, because I have a feeling with your losing your mom and your husband, you're going to find yourself in places that you would never have imagined of how strong you are. So I would be looking at that too.
Constance, I authored a book, The Gift of Change, Embracing Change Today for a Promising Tomorrow. Great, Constance. That's great. That's a nice title, too. Good for you, Constance. Really cool. Really great.
Huh. It says Mary O'Keefe says, why, since I lost my daughter, have I lost faith and so afraid of death, want to be with her, but so confused about life? Sorry you
Kelly?
lost your daughter, Mary.
Yeah, Mary. Very, very sorry. So Kelly and I might have different, let's hear both our opinions because that's an interesting one. And a lot of people go through that.
Mhm. Well, to me, James, again, I believe that the soul has an agreement when they're going to pass. That the mother would have, on the other side, you would have been, I'm only going to live this period of time. And it's so that you can grow, Mary. You will be growing tremendously from this. You'll help other people probably with this.
100%. I had this, I was talking about this today in soul care, this exact thing because I've counseled thousands of people, parents, lost children, and worked with Compassionate Friends, an organization for parents, lost children, and siblings. And I'll tell you, when someone dies, there's always a gift left behind. And we have to have the courage to open up that gift and look inside. And losing a child is one of, I think for me, it's the number, and I don't know because I haven't lost a child. I lost my doggy, but to me that was hard. It's like my child, but I think losing a child is the hardest lesson in this life, in the human experience, personally. And I think that it's a great lesson. I think it's an advanced soul lesson.
Absolutely, advanced soul for sure.
Definitely. And I remember very, very clearly my friend Marie Levine, 25 years ago, did a reading for her son was in a car accident. He died. And she said, I don't want to live. I don't want to live anymore. There's no reason to. And the son said, no, you have to. We've chosen this because later on, you're going to help people with this who've going through this. And you wouldn't know what it's like if you didn't go through this. You don't know. Years later, she had a chapter, the whole, nationwide Compassionate Friends. She wrote several books helping a lot of parents who lose children because, again, it's perspective and that you don't lose them. They're with you, but in a different form. And they're helping you to fulfill your soul's contract that you might have agreed upon. You probably did agree upon it before you came back, but both of you agreed to take a different role.
Right.
We always choose roles before we come back on this stage, and we change roles each lifetime. So this is a role. And also, Mary, maybe in a former life, you left early and you didn't know. Now it's like from the other side of the coin. So I think there's always balance. It's not a punishment. It's in a weird way, it's a blessing. My friend, my best friend, Jordy, my best friends, Jordy, Kelly knows Jordy.
I love Jordy.
She's great. She lost her son to an explosion. And she said to this day, she goes, a lot of people understand it was one of the greatest gifts of my life because he taught me so much from the other side. He shows up all the time because she's open to this and receiving, and that love never dies. And she says, oh, Ian's doing it. He's doing it. And they do. It's amazing to have that.
Amazing. It's amazing.
Change your life. Positive change if you look at it that way.
Right.
And I know it's hard. It's a hard thing. It's a hard. I'm not taking anything away from that because they're a really tough one. It's like I said, the toughest lesson. But there's beauty in it as well. And you haven't lost. It's a different, or lost her. It's a different state of being. Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks,
Thanks,
Renee.
James. Thanks, Renee.
Kelly.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now and Beyond, featuring spiritual medium and master teacher James Van Praagh and spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
That was great. Maybe we changed some lives.
And maybe opened up some minds.
Which way do I turn?
Right. I mean left.
The James and Kellee Show.